any questions during the presentation, so she don't mind your question interrupting her. I'll turn the time over to Sophia.
Hello everyone. Thank you, John, for the introduction, and thank you so much everyone for coming. Today we're going to talk about Anaconda Notebooks. Hope you are in the right room. Yay. So before we get started, I want to talk a little bit about myself. My name is Sophia Young. I am a data scientist and a developer advocate at Anaconda. I have been working at Anaconda for more than 4 years, almost 5 years now. I am a big fan of the open source PyData ecosystem, and I have contributed to some open source packages and have created some open source packages. I also volunteer at NumFocus in various PyData and SciPy conferences. Oh yeah, my background is in psychology, statistics, and computer science. Yeah, if you have any questions, please let me know. I know my background is kind of interesting. So, agenda for today, we're going to talk about what is Anaconda. Hopefully you all know what is Anaconda. And then the second half, we're going to talk about, the focus of the talk today is on Anaconda Notebooks. I'm going to do a live demo on Anaconda Notebooks. Hopefully it would work. Finger crossed, because sometimes demo, just doesn't work. But hopefully today would work. So, what is Anaconda? How many of you have used Anaconda? Yay, all of you, thank you so much. You are our users. So we have more than 35 million users across the globe, across 231 countries and regions. So everywhere, we're everywhere, everyone uses us. Most of the Fortune companies, Fortune 500 companies use us as well. So at Anaconda, we have 7.1 billion package downloads, and we also founded PyData, which is the largest data science org in the world, so including this conference. Our co-founder, Travis and Peter, co-founded NumFocus, which then founded PyData. Yeah, so Anaconda is a one platform powers all data science and data analytics work. At the foundation of Anaconda is our open source software community. Most of you probably know or don't know that at Anaconda we have a big open source org. We support many of the open source packages, including Jupyter, NumPy, PyScript, Holobase, and many others. We also donate a lot of money to NumFocus every year, which is a lot of money. So if you are an Anaconda customer, you contribute to Anaconda, part of our revenue actually goes towards NumFocus and contribute to the other open source libraries that we are not directly contributing to. And then on top of the open source software community, we build our packages and environment that you are probably most familiar with, including Anaconda installers in our Conda package environment. We help practitioners to develop and train machine learning models, analyze data, visualize results. We also help practitioners to deploy our models with one-click deployment with our Anaconda notebooks and also our data science platforms. And we also secure your Python supply chain. A lot of the data scientists and data analysts probably don't realize that security is a big issue in the Python ecosystem, and IT admins really care about this. We need to make sure the packages you use are secure. There are actually a lot of vulnerabilities in your Python packages, and Anaconda makes sure you scan all your packages and only install the secure packages. Here's another view of all of our feature offerings. We have packages and environments with thousands of open source packages. We support development with Anaconda Notebooks, Anaconda Learning, which is our new learning platform that was launched this year. We also have deployment features with one-click deployment and job scheduler. And then finally, like I mentioned, we provide security and governance for your IT admins and your IT managers to make sure your package is secured and applied. So today, we're going to talk about Anaconda Notebooks. So how many of you have known Anaconda Notebooks or have used Anaconda Notebooks? Awesome, yay. So Anaconda Notebooks is not the Jupyter Notebooks you're thinking about, so I'll talk about in a second. It's actually our cloud notebook offering. You can use Anaconda Notebooks on the cloud without need to install or configure anything. To use that, go to Anaconda.cloud and click Notebooks, and you can get started coding right away. Okay, now let me show you some demos. So, I guess before I show you the demos, here's the outline of what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to go through some of the basics of Anaconda Notebooks. I'm going to talk about environment management, data catalogs of how to use the pre-populated data set that we have included in Anaconda Notebooks, and also 2 exciting features that are coming soon. One is app deployment, another one is Anaconda Assistant with the power of LLMs. That's pretty popular nowadays. Okay, so let's get started to Anaconda.cloud. So Anaconda.cloud is a place where you learn and code, right? We have a lot of content right here. We have a lot of webinars, blog posts. You can also find our Python introductory courses and machine learning courses on Anaconda Learning. And then if you click to Anaconda Notebooks, it will direct you to our Anaconda Notebooks. Okay, does it look familiar to you? If you're familiar with the Jupyter Lab, this is exactly looks like Jupyter Lab, right? Okay, so it just looks and feels like Jupyter Lab, so we can start coding right now. If you open up a Jupyter notebook, a notebook right here in Jupyter Lab, you can start coding, for example, import pandas as PD, right? You can print hello world. Cool. So one thing I want to mention about Anaconda Notebooks is that you actually don't need to configure anything or install any packages to get started using. We provide a default kernel for you, which includes Python 3.9 and all the 300 plus packages that you would normally get when you download Anaconda installers. So a lot of the packages our data scientists use are already included in the Anaconda Notebooks environment. So you can just get started coding without need to trying to figure out the environment issues. Okay, so by the way, I forgot to mention, Anaconda Notebooks is completely free. You will get free 10 megabytes of storage and a limited of CPU usage time when you get started using Anaconda Notebooks. But if you want to upgrade to having more disk usage and CPU usage, we have a conference code for you, PySeattle, that we'll share in a little bit as well, that you can have free upgrade for your Anaconda Notebooks. For most of the things, if you don't do crazy machine learning, deep learning stuff, the free version should be enough for you to explore. Okay, so that's that. So I want to show you, if you would like to configure your environment and manage your environment, what can you do with Anaconda Notebooks? So we have a README file here that comes with Anaconda Notebooks. And we have a session called Conda Environment. This is how you would use Conda Environment at Anaconda Notebooks. It looks exactly the same as your normal Conda environment management command, right? You do Conda environment list to list all of your environments. Okay, now you can see we're at the base environment that is provided for you is Anaconda Python 3.9, and I also created 3 other environments with Python 3.10 and Python 3.11, and another test environment that I just named. And then if you do conda list, it will list all the environments that's included in your current environment. not gonna run this right now. Already ran it. And then if you want to create a custom environment, you can use conda create -name to give your new environment a name. And then you can define your Python versions of the environment you want to create. One thing that's different with Anaconda Notebooks is that you need to include this IPyKernel package to make sure you download this package so that you can use Anaconda Notebooks. So that's the only thing different with Anaconda Notebooks and the regular conda commands. Okay, and then you can install packages like your regular conda install package name, for example. Pandas is already included in the base environment. You probably don't need to install pandas, but if you want to install something else, you could do that. And then to change your kernel or your environment, you can select your preferred environment, whether it is Python 3.10, Python, or Python 3.9, or just use your base environment. And if you don't want to do your environment management in your notebook interface, you can do everything in the terminal as well. Okay, for example, conda in list, it will show you all the environments you have. Yeah, so that's environment management. Any questions so far? Okay, we're all good. Okay, the next thing I want to show you is Anaconda data catalogs. This looks a little weird. Okay, this is better. So at Anaconda Notebooks, we provide a bunch of data catalogs for you to play with. And we will keep adding data catalogs for you. And we'll soon release an interface for you to upload your data to Anaconda Notebooks as well. So let's take a look at our data catalogs to see what it means. So when you click on each of the data, the tiles here, you will get a hero notebook. So even if you don't have any Python programming skills or experience, you can just click on our hero notebooks and get started coding. So let me show you what does it work. How does it work? So here I'm using, let me try another one.
Sophia,
yes.
can you elucidate what exactly is a hero notebook?
Yes, so hero notebook, we just give it a name called hero notebook because when you click on each tile, it will populate a notebook for you. We just call those notebooks hero notebook for you to play with. It's like a template or a starting point for you to start coding.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so here we have a US wind turbine data set. And here's the hero notebooks of the wind turbine data set. So we first import our Anaconda catalogs, and then we load the catalog. Let me just run this, and then we'll explain what is the data catalog in a second. And now you can see the data for the wind turbine data set as a pandas data frame, and then you can start playing. Okay, so how do we do that? Sorry, cat.gui. Okay. Put cell. Okay. I forgot the anyways, so intake catalog, I want to show you what intake is. So our Anaconda catalog is built on top of the intake catalog. So imagine if you're a data scientist, right? I just want to play with a pandas data frame. I don't care about what is the source, where my data is from. I mean, I might care about where they're from, but I just want them to load up on my Jupyter notebook. And I don't really care about their format, whether they're CSV or Parquet or JSON file, right? I just want them to be able to, for me to play easily in my Jupyter notebook. So with Anaconda data catalog, it provides an interface. Okay, here we go. It provides an interface for you to load your catalog using a consistent way of loading your data consistently. For example, you open your Anaconda data catalog and quote examples dot your data, a specific data name, right? So it's the same thing as if your data is on Stripe, if your data is on Salesforce. I created the intake Salesforce driver, right? You just do intake open Salesforce data, and with a specific data set in the Salesforce data sets, and then you can load the data consistently using the same command. So the way it works is that it's actually a YAML file defining your intake drivers you're trying to use. If you want to load a CSV file, you're using an intake CSV driver. And then you're actually not storing the file anywhere. You're using an existing file either on your GitHub page or on your S3 bucket or on your Salesforce instance, for example, right? So we fetch this data when we call intake open catalog and get this data. Yeah, so that's how intake works. And if we want to plot this data, right, because in the JSON file, we also define some of the plotting options. You can explore your data. If you want to share this catalog with other people and you want to show this plot really easily, you can define a plot here, and we can take a look at the plot. Okay, great. So this is a plot that we predefined in the intake catalog. And there should be another button here that I don't see. Okay, that's fine. Any questions so far with intake catalogs? Okay, cool. Yeah, so here's the Hero notebook that we just mentioned that you can load different data sets into your Jupyter notebook super easily and consistently with intake catalog and with Anaconda catalog service. And once you have loaded your data, you can visualize your data pretty easily using the plot functions. Okay. So the next exciting thing I want to talk to you about is our upcoming feature, which is app deployment. Yay, who's excited about this feature? So with Anaconda Notebooks, you can click on one button and get this dashboard, or any dashboard you're making, or any app you're making. So let's just go through this dashboard really quickly. This is, again, the wind turbine data, where we visualize, this is a scatter plot with all the locations of wind turbines in the US. And this table will show you all the wind turbines that's in the data set, and we have different views. This is actually a Visio chart. If you have gone to the Visio workshop 2 days ago, you might be fascinated about how easy to do storytelling with Visio. So I'm going to demo a little bit on this notebook. You can zoom in, and it actually renders every time you zoom. It's actually using data shader at the back end to support this zooming, so it's really fast when you zoom. So this dashboard is actually called a panel dashboard. Panel, data shader, HvPlot are all packages within the HoloViz ecosystem. If you're not familiar with HoloViz, it's one of the open source projects that we support at Anaconda. It's a really nice visualization tool. If you haven't tried it yet, please feel free to try it out. And if you select part of the data in the chart, you can see it's called linked selection. The table and the Visio chart also get updated. And you can click on different widgets on the top to see different data. We have the count of the wind turbine farms and the capacity here. And you can group by year or manufacturer. So that's the dashboard that I want to show you. To make it happen, so this is the notebook that I I use to make this dashboard, right? I'm going to go through this code quickly with you. So again, we load our data catalog as we have seen before, and then we access data from the catalog and get the wind turbine data frame as a pandas data frame. And then we can visualize this data. We define two functions. I'm just going to go through this quickly. If you're interested to learn more, please visit panel docs to learn more. So here we have two functions where I want to get the data set that I want to visualize, and I also want to get the configurations of the visualization I want to see in the Visio chart, because I want a bubble chart that you have seen before, and also I want a bar chart. So those are two different configurations, and my function allows me to choose between different configurations. And as you can see from this app, I have a bunch of widgets on the top of my app. So here is how I define all my panel widgets. So you just do pn.widgets, and then select different widget types. Here, all of them are radio button group, and they can create different widgets. And then to create the Visio chart, that is on the bottom here. Okay, right. So you define your data, your configuration, and different styles to create a Visio chart as a panel object. In order to bind your data function and your configuration function with the widgets here, so whenever you change the widget on your chart, on your dashboard, you want your visualization, your dashboard to update, right? Reflecting the change in your widget. So the way we do that is that we use pn.bind to bind your function. This is a function. Again, this is also a function with the corresponding panel widgets that we just defined. So with this one simple line of code, you're essentially binding your function with all the widgets. So any updates on your widgets reflected on the function you're calling. So that's how pn-bind is working. And then we create the table that we're trying to show here. And then pn column is just, we want to create layout to lay everything in a column, and then you can define your layout in pn.row, which is everything is grouped in a row. And then again, another pn column is to group everything in a column. Okay, any questions so far on panel and Visio? The CEO of Visio is right here. Visio is not an Anaconda project, but we love it very much. Yeah, and I have to mention that panel doesn't only work with Visio, it also works with our native HvPlot. It works with bokeh, works with Matplotlib, Plotly, many other visualization solutions. So if you want to use panel to work with your preferred visualization package, it's all very easy and very possible. Okay, so to deploy this dashboard, okay, I'm afraid to click this button, but let me not click that. I'm going to just show you what it looks like. So here is a panel icon. If you click this button, you can preview what your dashboard looks like. It's maybe a little big. Yeah, so you can see the preview image of your dashboard, and you can make changes, and your preview will change. And then if you want to deploy your dashboard, let's try to click on this button and see if it works. Yeah, it works. And then this is the deployment button, where you can define the title of your app. Let's just say test app. You can give it a description, and you can publish your app. Publish. Is it going? Something went wrong. Okay. Sorry. Oh, now it's published. Yay, I'm glad it didn't went wrong. Okay, now we can click on this link. Okay, it's still being published. While we're waiting, I want to show you. Okay, cool. Is this working? Yeah, because I'm on the dev cluster for this, it's kind of slow for the moment. We can come back to that. But if you want to see which apps you have deployed, you can see all the apps, active apps here. If you have inactive apps, it will be here as well. If you click on this little icon here, you can restart your dashboard deployment, you can unpublish, you can get the links, you can do all sorts of things. And now, yay, it's published. I'm glad it works. Now you can share this dashboard with all your coworkers and whoever. We will add access control for you to use this app within your company as well. But for now, this is like everyone can see. If you type in this link, you will be able to see this dashboard as well. Okay, so the final feature I want to show you is really exciting, is Anaconda Assistant. Okay, so let me just delete everything. Here, I'm just loading another data set, like share data. Where we have the date of the data, and we have next temperature of that day, and the number of rides of bike share at a certain date. If we click on this little button, yeah, it's Anaconda Assistant. Anaconda Assistant right now automatically generates code to visualize your pandas data frame. We will add a lot more features, but here's a preview of what we do. You can select a data frame to generate a graph. Let's get the code and see what it does. Yay! It's kind of generating the code for us, and it automatically runs on Anaconda Notebooks. What if we just want to place HvPlot and rice? Okay, now have the plotting for number of rice. Make the plot green. Now we have a green plot. Anything else you guys want to try? HvPlot 2017 data. Now we have a plot for ONI 2017 data. So that is Anaconda Notebooks. Any questions? Yes?
This is probably pretty obvious, but if you have a collection of older notebooks, how do you import them in there without having to cut and paste everything?
Sorry, I can't hear you.
If you have a collection of notebooks laid out on GitHub or something like that, how do you import them into this?
Yes, that's a great question. We'll have a little icon thing for you to click on your GitHub page. It's like Google Chrome. If you click a button, it will automatically open on Google Chrome, Google Colab. With Anaconda Notebooks, we'll have the same thing. We click a button on your Jupyter, on your GitHub page, it will automatically open on your Anaconda Notebooks. Yeah, you can also just download everything and upload, just drag and drop to your Anaconda Notebooks. Yeah, so that's a great question. Okay, so I'm pretty excited about Anaconda Assistant, and we have a great team of people working actively to improve our Anaconda Assistant features. Please let us know if you have any feedback. We would love to have feedback. Okay, so yeah, so we have gone through all those exciting things about Anaconda Notebooks. If you have any questions, please go to our community.anaconda.cloud page. You can ask questions there. You can showcase your work there as well.
I have a question.
Yes?
So I think you've demonstrated loading data, but I wonder how are you dealing with saving data? Are those data persisted, or that's just can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, for our Anaconda data catalogs, we don't save any data anywhere. We just point to the URL of where the data is saved.
Okay, but say if I'm training and then generating data with this notebook, where does that data?
Yeah, you can save it in your Anaconda Notebook instance, like the way you save your data locally. Alternatively, you can point it to an S3 bucket to save your data there.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, thank you for the question. And I just want to acknowledge all of our coworkers who have worked really hard on Anaconda Notebooks. It's truly a team effort, and I just want to thank my teammates who are working on this project. And I want to thank you all for being here and being so nice and listening to my talk. And please register at anaconda.cloud, and the free upgrade code is PySeattle. Enjoy.